Hey, what's going on, you crazy cats? This is JR from Trade Skillers Anonymous. Thanks for tuning in. And today I just wanted to give you an overview of a change that I made to my CNC machine about a year ago. And that is that I added a vacuum table to it that's made by a fellow by the name of Jace, who is the owner and operator of Airweights. And this is a vacuum table system that comes in a variety of different sizes. I covered the entirety of my work envelope, so 4x4 feet. And just wanted to give you a 1 year check-in on how it's doing, what I think of it, and how it's changed the workflow for me on my CNC. So thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. All right, so I'm going to do my best to give you just a quick walk around of the board itself. So this is two different panels that are 2 foot by 4 foot. And the neat part about it is that Jace and the company Airweights, they include a file for you to index 1/4 inch steel pins into your work surface, so that even no matter how many of these panels you have, whatever configuration you go with, you can index them such that, in this case, all of these grid lines, even though they're different panels, are going to be perfectly aligned across the two different panels I have. All right, and I'm going to do my best to bring you in as close as I can, and hopefully the camera's going to pick up all that we're talking about today. So essentially, this is a grid work. Embedded inside the panel are air passageways where a vacuum port comes in. You know, it's just this simple air fitting, push to connect, push to disconnect, and it goes to a vacuum pump that's underneath the table. That vacuum is then applied inside this panel, and then you have multiple locations like this where you can either plug off the hole with one of these type of plugs, or you can create a space. So it might be hard to pick up on the camera, but I have gasket material put here, and it's just simple stuff. It just lays down. So it's almost like I think it's like a 1/4 inch weather strip of some type. And there's really no fuss or muss. You just lay it into the grid so that you create, essentially a panel. So in my particular case, just to get right to the meat and potatoes, so I've got this piece of plywood here, nothing special about it. As long as I have the perimeter of the gasket somewhere less than the outside dimension of this board, and then I reach up and hit the remote. So right now, this can slide wherever it wants to. Turning on the vacuum pump and letting it run for just a second now means I'm putting enough force on this that my whole table is moving and it's not coming off. So you can bleed off the vacuum, and then of course move your workpiece. Now, because you have this gasket material here, you can arrange this in any type of shape or pattern that you need for your CNC work. Okay, so again, this is the perimeter that I have set up, and where I really find that this comes in handy is for jig work and repetitive work. So I have just 3D printed these little guys, these little dogs, I guess I'll call them, that fit perfectly onto the Airweights grid system. And I'll take a picture and include them down below. But as long as I put these dogs in a fashion that makes sense for how I'm going to work, if I had a bunch of this type of a job to do, I could register that right against there. Instantly, I'm held down to my table, run the job, and then the minute that I'm done with the job and I'm ready to move on to my next workpiece, relieve the pressure, come back in with my next workpiece, put it into this situation here, get vacuum again, send the next job on. It's really great for fixturing and repetitive, XY 0 coordinates. So in wrapping this up, just so that you can have an understanding of, you know, the 1 year experience that I've had with this thing. I can tell you I'd give it a 10 out of 10, and I am not affiliated with the company Airweights. I'll put a link down at the bottom for you so that if you're curious, you can go have a look. I don't earn a commission. There's none of that business going on. I just feel very positively about the company, the engineering that went into this system, and had an opportunity to speak to the owner a couple of times. His name is Jace, super cool guy. And I think this is something that's really neat and has helped me immensely. There are other ways that you can do work holding, and I have done those ways for several years. That includes mechanical clamps that, you know, come down and hold on the board. I promise you, I've run into those clamps more times than I'd like to admit, and was my least favorite method for work holding. The next thing is double-sided tape, and some people use carpenter tape, some people use double-sided tape. And then lastly, you can use blue tape with CA glue. All of those will work, but I can tell you that they have a shelf life on a machine that's being run the way it's intended to run. What do I mean by that? This machine, because it's quite rigid, you know, it's not uncommon for me to be running 200 to 400 inches a minute on a job, because I don't want to sit here all day and wait for this thing to do what it's going to do. The frame of my machine can handle the stress and strain of a good size cut at a decent speed. And where I have had failures personally in my CNC work has been almost exclusively in work holding failing, because I was going aggressive. You know, I'm 150 inches a minute on, you know, something that's 3/4 of an inch thick, and, you know, my tape just didn't hold up. And there are times, because most of what I enjoy, or what maybe what I should say is the thing I enjoy doing the most, is making one-off furniture. And when you're doing that and you have panel glue ups, or you have leg assemblies, let's say, or stretchers that you're going to introduce some type of complex shape or curve that a CNC is perfect for, man, the last thing you want to do after spending hours milling and preparing glue ups just to get it onto the CNC table and have your work holding become a problem that ruins that sub-assembly. So that being said, you know, if you have a CNC machine, which is probably why you're watching this video, you know, let's face it, you've spent a substantial amount of money on a tool to do a job for you. And what I would suggest is, if you're frustrated with work holding, or fearful that, you know, you're at the edge of, you know, it's about to let go, just have a look at this thing and see if it would work for you. It comes in a variety of sizes. These are 2 foot by 4 foot panels. I don't know, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I think he sells, you know, 12 or 24 inch squares to strips that are 4 foot long, all kinds of different configurations with different vacuum pumps available. That might just be a solution that helps you the way that this has helped me. And I can tell you that of all the things secondary to the machine that I chose, which is a Onefinity, the next best thing that I've done has been introducing this Airweights table to my workflow, because my confidence when I put a part that I have milled and glued up and created an assembly for that I'm going to let the machine help me do some final work on, my confidence rating in the work holding is through the roof compared to, you know, when I was double-side taping something down or whatnot. I can't say that my confidence was that high, and this has really changed that for me, and I think it's worth a look. So a year in, I will just say, I think I just said it, but, you know, I'm a 10 out of 10 on this. And again, I'm not affiliated with, this is not a sponsored video. I bought this setup here, so and I'm quite glad that I did. So what you will have been seeing, and these are not all mine that I'm running while this is happening, but, you know, some examples of CNC work holding that has gone bad. I can just tell you, I've had zero in the year that I've been using this I've had 0 instances of this thing letting me down in any fashion. And I'm going to call myself aggressive. When I dial in my depth of cut and my speeds, I am not conservative. I want to get the job done. So this thing has been really fantastic. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I appreciate you coming by and watching. If you don't mind, on your way out, maybe hit that like button. Give me a comment that says, you know, what work holding have maybe you run into in the past that either didn't work or worked great for you. Just curious what your experience has been. And then lastly, if you found some value in the information today or any of the other videos that I've got out there, you know, feel free to subscribe while you're here. It's free and it makes you feel good. Have a great day.